people like me. You need people like me so you can point your fingers and say, that's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy.
Okay, we'll start with this. It's official. Dena Thorsland will be defending her 2 alphabet titles, both the WBC and WBO bantamweight titles, against Turkey's own unbeaten up-and-comer, Cetin. You will recall that their fight, Cetin suffered a cut in the build-up and she wasn't cleared to fight, thus Spain's own Mary Romero, a common opponent between them, she ended up standing in her place. And as I predicted, as I expected, Dena made short work of Mary Romero. I think she's going to make short work of Cetin for the same reason, because Cetin, like Mary, she's a pressure fighter, she's a volume puncher. Sporting a professional record of 11 wins with no losses, no draws, 7 knockouts. I don't think Cetin is ready for this fight. I don't think she yet has enough experience, and I don't think she's got the lungs for it, the fitness, or the right base style for this assignment. I'm expecting this fight to look a lot like the Mary Romero fight. And what we saw in the Mary Romero fight is that Mary spent a lot of time retreating. She spent a lot of time with her back on the ropes.
Thought she said she was a pressure fighter.
She is.
Then why'd you say she spent all that time with her back on the ropes retreating?
Because Dena Thorsland forced her onto the ropes. Because Dena Thorsland forced her to concede real estate. And as we all know, pressure fighters, they're no good off the back foot.
Mary Romero wasn't. Cetin won't be either.
The reason that Mary Romero was not able to stay in character with Dena is because Dena is noticeably stronger. She's a stronger puncher than Mary Romero.
And that's a nuance. That doesn't boil down to styles. That's a physicality.
Dena's stronger. Dena is faster.
Speed is another physicality.
Dena is a lot more athletic, nimble, light on her feet than Mary Romero. In tandem with Dena's boxer-puncher-based style, she was able to force Mary Romero back, and Mary off the back foot, she's no good off the back foot.
Dena was able to force her back.
I think she'll do the same to Cetin. What I really like about this fight is it didn't take them long to make it, that within the first 6 months of this year, Dena Thorsland will have defended her titles 2 times. That's a quick turnaround.
Leaves plenty of room to do another fight towards the end of the summer, maybe the fall, maybe the winter. Dena might fight 3 times this year.
Where she only fought 2 last year. She's a pleasure to watch in action, and perhaps the next fight beyond the Cetin fight that I anticipate she's going to win, perhaps the next fight could be with another one of the champions at this weight, of which there are 2. There's Nina Hughes.
Rather, the winner of Hughes versus Johnson.
The winner of that fight. And there is Japan's own IBF champion, Miya Yoshida. Perhaps Dena can unify titles with one of them if she takes care of business in May, and I think she's going to.
She was in action earlier this year in February,
where young Cetin hasn't seen action since April of last year. That's essentially saying that the night of the fight, she will not have fought within the last 12 months, and this is no fight to have to shake off ring rust in. This is a title fight. You want to go into this thing active and sharp and ready. I don't think Cetin is.
My feelings haven't changed.
I had Dena Thorsland beating Cetin before Cetin had to pull out. I still have Dena Thorsland beating her now for the exact same reason she beat Mary Romero, because boxer punchers usually beat pressure fighters. They have the right balance of both offense and defense.
They have the fundamentals, the sweet science of the pure boxer with the pressure fighter's spite, the pressure fighter's mean streak.
Dena Thorsland has it. When she's not good for a knockdown, she's good for a knockout. She knocked out Mary Romero. Will she knock out Cetin, who is many years younger?
It's possible.
Fitness is why. Counterpunching is why. Speed is why.
Cetin's a good young fighter. I don't want to say that she isn't, but she punches a lot wider than Dena Thorsland. Her hooks are not compact, not defensible. There's plenty of room, plenty of holes there.
She can definitely be caught coming in when she's coming forward, trying to close the distance. She's hittable. incredible.
She ain't got all the bells and whistles of a top-tier, top-shelf pressure fighter yet. The head movement, slipping, bobbing, rolling, weaving, catching, shooting.
She's got the temperance, she's got the pace, she's got the volume and aggression, but she's still missing a few things.
Dena's gonna expose that. I have Dena winning the fight. We'll talk more about the fight as the fight date approaches.
Men's super middleweight news, you may have heard that Top Rank has signed unbeaten up-and-comer in the super middleweight division, Christian Mbilli, to a co-promotional pact with Eye of the Tiger. Mbilli, 26-0 with 22 KOs, is ranked in the top 5 of every major governing body and number 2 by Ring Magazine. His ring return will be announced by Eye of the Tiger and Top Rank in the coming weeks. It is an honor for me that this co-promotion is taking place with Top Rank, Mbilli said. We all know the power of promoters and the significant role that they play in the boxing world. So, with Top Rank and Eye of the Tiger joining forces, I certainly have an unbeatable team as I head towards a world championship. A big thank you to my team, which once again demonstrates their hard work with this incredible partnership. I'm thrilled to be partnering with Top Rank. I believe synergy is key to achieving great things. With the right synergy, 1 + 1 = 100. We have an ace, and we're going after the big names, said Eye of the Tiger president Camille Estefian.
I had a ringside seat for Christian's latest fight, and I was amazed with his power and ferocious nature inside the ring.
Said Top Rank chairman Bob Arum.
He is a special super middleweight talent, and I am pleased to collaborate with our good friends at Eye of the Tiger to help this talented young man achieve his world championship dreams.
If you haven't seen Christian Mbilli in action already, Christian is best described as a mid-range to inside pressure fighter, volume puncher, and a particularly aggressive one, a particularly violent one. He's made for television. He's made for TV.
I love him.
Mbilli moved from Cameroon to France at 11 years old and began boxing at age 15. He soon became one of France's great amateurs, winning a national title and advancing to the quarterfinals at the 2016 Rio Olympics. Following the Olympics, he moved to Montreal to turn professional under the guidance of decorated trainer Marc Ramsey, who also happens to train Artur Beterbiev. That's quite a stable. Mbilli scored 7 knockouts in his first year as a pro and captured his first regional title in May of 2018. He notched a one-punch knockout over former world title challenger Najib Mohammedi in 2022 and grinded down a 10-round decision over Ecuadorian puncher Carlos Gongora the following year.
And what was a fight of the year candidate, if you saw it, that was all action.
Mbilli had a breakout performance on the Artur Beterbiev versus Callum Smith ESPN Plus televised co-feature in January, beating down Rohan Murdoch, and now he envisions 2 big fights in 2024. He hopes one includes Canelo Alvarez.
Everybody wants a Canelo fight.
The sign with Bob Arum and ESPN Plus is great news for us, Mbilli told Boxing Scene. We will work together for me to become a world champion. Signing with Top Rank will make it easier for us to do this. This is going to be a big year. We will be looking to have some great fights. We will have 2 big fights on ESPN. I hope for a title, but I don't know yet. A bottleneck effect has taken place at super middleweight as serious contenders start to pile up in the mandatory positions for Canelo Alvarez's undisputed crown. You know that there are many good fighters there that want to become world champion, but this guy does what he wants with the titles, Mbilli said. He boxed Jermell Charlo. He keeps wanting to fight guys in a different division. It's frustrating, but I have to focus on my training and focus on all things me and my team have control over. We are waiting for my time. Mbilli is on the cusp of world glory, ranked within the top 4 of all governing bodies, ratings. His journey in boxing wouldn't start until he immigrated from Cameroon. I moved to France at 11 years old with my mother because she married a French guy, Mbilli said. Now he's my father. I moved there before I started boxing. At the time, I played soccer.
Now, he kicks ass.
While I think that Christian Mbilli is a talented fighter, made for television, an action guy, a real action guy, it's a curious signing for Top Rank because they don't actually have that many ponies in that super middleweight show. So how are they going to match him? Who are they going to have him fighting?
It's a legitimate question.
Marc Ramsey found me After the Olympic qualifiers in Bulgaria, Mbilli said, he called to congratulate me and to maybe have a meeting after the Olympics. When Mark first called, I wanted to go with him immediately because the amateurs were not for me. My goal was always to be a professional. I had seen Mark Ramsey with Jean-Paul and Artur Beterbiev. He is a great trainer. I came to Montreal to visit Mark. He showed me how he works with his boxers and how I can live in Montreal. After just 3 days in Montreal, Mbilli was hooked.
He's in good company.
It's a very good city, Mbilli said of Montreal. It is my new home. I will stay my whole life in Montreal. Despite the relocation, Mbilli, 28 years old, still has hopes of boxing in his first adopted homeland. He has seen the majority of his career split between La France and Canada. It has been 3 years since I last fought in France, Mbilli said. Maybe I can defend my title in France and Paris in a big event. I hope, because I have a lot of fans there. I think it will be great to have a big fight there. Until a return home, Mbilli's eyes are fixed firmly across the Atlantic on the biggest names at super middleweight. I think Caleb Plant is a good fight, Mbilli said. Edgar Berlanga is a good fight too. Jaime Munguia, I messaged him on Instagram, but he and his team were in negotiations with Canelo. Daniel Jacobs too. He has a comeback fight soon. I need a big name.
How does Christian stack up against those guys? How does he stack up with those names?
I would pick him to beat Caleb Plant. In spite of Caleb having fought better competition than Christian Mbilli has so far, he lost.
He lost to Canelo. He lost to David Benavidez.
He lost, and stylistically, I don't think Caleb has the style for this assignment. Caleb has the look of a pure boxer. Christian Mbilli is a pressure fighter. And what do I always tell you? Pressure fighters are a pure boxer's kryptonite.
I think Mbilli would wear him out.
I think he'd beat the hell out of Edgar Berlanga, too, who's showing slight improvement fight by fight, though not enough to where I'd pick him to beat Christian. I think Christian would kick his ass. He'd kick his ass up and down that ring. He'd kick his ass.
Fuck him up.
Daniel Jacobs. Daniel, God bless him. Well, he's certainly fought better fighters than Christian Mbilli has fought so far. He's certainly a more experienced fighter than Christian Mbilli is, but he hasn't fought in well over a year. How long has it been since he dropped a decision to John Ryder? 1, 2 years? And he's getting long in the tooth.
I'd pick Christian to beat him too.
I think it is good that Canelo is going to defend his title soon, Mbilli said. It has been a long time since he did. The super middleweight division is good right now. It is very strong. I hope that after Canelo's easy fight with Jaime Munguia, he will take some risks and fight me.
We'll see.
As stated, even though I think Christian Mbilli is a very talented young fighter and very entertaining to watch, it's curious that Top Rank picked him up because Top Rank don't have many, if any, bodies at super middleweight. So how are they going to match him?
A lot of the familiar faces at this weight are at the PBC.
And the only silver lining I see is that the PBC have limited resources and limited fight dates. Some of their fighters have already begun jumping ship and they're popping up elsewhere. So maybe that could happen with one or some of their super middleweights, that if they make a Caleb Plant a sizable offer to come over to Top Rank and box Christian Mbilli, maybe he might bite. Maybe he might take it. The PBC don't seem to have him doing anything else.
What about David?
David Benavidez? He's supposed to be moving up to light heavyweight in his next fight.
What about David Morrell?
I honestly don't know what they have David Morrell doing. I don't know when the next time that guy's gonna fight. I don't know what's going on with him.
Jamal Charlo?
He's on drugs.
Demetrius Andrade?
He just lost. He just lost to David Benavidez.
You see what I mean.
I think Mbilli's talented. I think it's a great signing, but I really don't know what opponents Top Rank is going to be able to procure for him.
Well, technically, he was already over there.
Yeah, technically, but this makes it official. Let's see what they can cook up. And just in keeping with the theme of all things super middleweight, the good people at the Boxing Voice, Nestor Gibbs, recently had a dialogue with Samson Lewkowicz, David Benavidez's longtime promoter, and there were some interesting admissions.
From Samson.
You will remember that 2, maybe 3 weeks ago, Eddie Hearn said that he had a dialogue with Samson about potentially doing the Canelo Alvarez versus David Benavidez fight on their side of things, and this is how it went.
For the fight, and I like Samson a lot, and Samson says, "Oh, we'll fight him for free," we'll, all this kind of general stuff. I said, "Look, if Canelo works with us, we'll make the fight with Benavidez." And he went, "Yes, no problem, just give us the US TV on Amazon." I'm like, "What? No, mate. If Canelo comes with us on DAZN, and DAZN are putting up the money for Munguia and Berlanga and all these people, DAZN are going to put up the money for Benavidez." What? Mate, you're a challenger. Do you want to fight the king? Or you just only if it works with your promoter?
There were some who questioned the legitimacy of Eddie Hearns' story, his version of it. It would seem that Samson Lewkowicz, he confirmed it. He confirmed it yesterday on the Boxing Voice.
Yes,
if
but
you say anything different, he's lying to you.
But it's reported that you asked for the U.S. television rights.
And he went, yes, no problem, just give us the US TV on Amazon. I'm like, what?
That's correct.
Okay, you know you killing the fight. How the hell is the Zone gonna pay Canelo, but you gonna get the U.S. rights?
Ryan Garcia versus
Tank Davis
Tank
was
split. Both sides, the same deal. I told him the same deal.
No, it's not the same deal. And what Samson Lewkowicz and Team Benavidez like to do is prey on the general ignorance and lack of understanding, the stupidity of the boxing community at large, to prop up these narratives.
The implication.
You're giving it away. You're telling on yourself that you guys are not serious about fighting Canelo Alvarez. You never were.
It's all bullshit.
Because in a situation where the A-side fighter is with a Matchroom, and Matchroom is negotiating on his behalf, and Matchroom would have been representing him, that means that Matchroom would have been putting up the bulk of the cash, a large sum of money, and they're going to put up that large sum of money so that the rights to the fight can go to you.
What?
So they can go to Amazon.
Samson knows how this works just as much as I or you. More so. He's in the industry.
There were some because of how this looked, because of how this sounded. They wanted to deny it. They wanted to question the legitimacy of Eddie Hearns' account of events, but Samson, he just confirmed it.
So it's just as bad as it sounds.
Let me break something down to you.
Listen,
This is not Maymac.
No.
And this is not Maypac.
you don't have the bargaining power that those fighters did.
And you should understand that. Because you seemingly don't, it gives off the impression that you're just playing games.
Yeah.
You're just playing fucking games. If Canelo Alvarez were to have gone to DAZN and Matchroom would have paid for the fight, you're in no position to ask for the TV rights.
We know that he didn't.
But that's not the point. The point is, if push came to shove, you admitted you'd fuck this up. You'd muck this up.
You admitted it.
It's like these fucking schmoes don't want to acquiesce to being the B-side. Kind of like how Deontay Wilder didn't want to acquiesce to being the B-side with Anthony Joshua. David Benavidez doesn't want to acquiesce to being the B-side with Canelo Alvarez. Not if your promoter is demanding the U.S. TV rights.
The fucking nerve.
In that interview with the Boxing Voice, Samson Lewkowicz stated that David Benavidez's purse, they would take care of that, the people at the PBC. They would pay him, and Matchroom would pay Canelo. But when you think about it, who's getting paid more, Canelo or David?
Canelo.
And who would be paying Canelo in that scenario?
Matchroom.
So who would end up staking more of their cash? Who would end up putting up more money?
Matchroom.
They would put up $40 to $50 million or whatever it would have been, could have been. They're going to put up that dollar amount while you put up a few mil for David, and you think you've got to share the TV rights. Are you out of your fucking mind?
No, they know exactly what they're doing.
And I do too. It's what I told you. They're playing games.
Look at what happened to Wilder when he let him play with some kid from some other side of the street. Look at what happened to Stephen Fulton. Look at what happened more recently to Errol Spence Jr.
And ask yourself if they really want to make this thing.
Do you want to get another one of your unbeaten fighters beat?